All right. Set us off.
Okay, so today's video is about Beyonce's Black King is amazing but not exempt from criticism. This article on Teen Vloggers, I think that's what it's called.
Teen Vogue.
Teen Vogue. I can't see it because I have the dark theme.
Oh yeah, it's Teen Vogue. And for any of you who don't know what that is, it's a magazine for teenage girls in fashion. And now they've apparently added a politics section. So
That's good.
yeah, that's some.
We got to get we have to get the young women ready to vote for when Pelosi allows 16-year-olds to vote.
Oh right,
Yeah.
right. Hey,
We got to make sure.
At least they have.
We got to make sure they have the best, most filtered, left-leaning news that there possibly could be, and make sure that those white women, independent women, know that they are white, independent women of color and don't need a man to vote for them. Ain't that right? Okay, so if you haven't, if you're still watching, and if you haven't reported us for hate speech yet, this is just kind of a joke article at this point.
Okay. Look, it's supposed. Here's how you know you're in 2020. In case your flux capacitor broke and some coils burn out or something. You know you're in 2020 whenever you look at it and it's supposed to be a joke and you laugh at it. No. You look at it and you think it's a joke. You start laughing your ass off, but then you realize that the author was serious.
So I'm guessing this movie's really accurate because we already have a single independent woman of color mother, a single mother. You know, I mean, there's no father in this picture.
Except for Daddy Government.
Except for Daddy Government. I guess
Yeah.
the sun rays coming down on her robe is welfare, supporting her
Right.
in her day-to-day.
No, she's photosynthesizing welfare. Like
Photosynthesizing welfare.
Her melanated cloth of wealth that she's wearing. It transforms the god daddy government sun rays into welfare. Like it just like grows into welfare checks. You know how like plants they like photosynthesize and that's how they produce like sugar or something.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of producing sugar, it produces paper checks, which are welfare. That's how this Beyonce character is sustaining herself. It's quite amazing. It is definitely beyond scientific reason because Wakanda forever or something. Anyway.
Hey, Wakanda's a real place. Be careful where you tread, boy. Be careful where you tread.
Right.
You don't tread on Wakanda.
And Egyptians were white, and the original British people were all black too. So, yeah. Excuse my privilege. But anyway, okay. So this article's written just today by Tim Hotep Aku. I'm out of words. Let's just start. In this op-ed, writer Tim Hotep Aku explores the criticism tied to Beyonce's Black is King and her position as an artist and in a capitalist system. That's some big think right there. What do you think, AG?
Well, all capitalism is evil. I mean, things would be much better if we had socialism, or democratic socialism, you know, so it's not like socialism, so that everyone is equal in pay, and that way everyone has, fair, a fair time.
You know what? Actually, in fact, let's get something clear, okay? Capitalism is actually the most racist system because economic freedom is hurting. Economic freedom means less welfare, and welfare is what keeps black people alive. Apparently, not my words. This is what I think is true. But we need to, as much as I hate telling it, it is the truth that I guess needs to be told. So, in fact, capitalism, the system of economic freedom, squashes the welfare state, which hurts black people. Therefore, freedom is racist. And in fact, what should be done instead is that we should bring people of color back into the freedom of welfare. So remember, freedom is racist. Okay. So, but welfare is slavery. So I guess I don't know. I tried. That joke kind of died. But
So,
anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
we'll move on.
Fuck. Jeez,
I'll have those athletic joggers voting for 200 years with this one simple trick. Republicans hate him. So, if you guys don't know what I'm referencing, Lyndon B. Johnson, a former president of ours, said, "I will have these insert N-word people voting for the next 200 years by giving them welfare and making them dependent on it." And
Yeah,
so
he
I'm pretty sure
also
you could connect the dots there.
he also referenced a I don't know if it's penis enlargement or just like doctors hate him. I don't know. I'm sure that's a fucking good. That was good. That was good though. Okay, last year when hold on. Before you engage hold on. Okay, well, what do you want from her? Before you can engage with Beyonce's artistic output, and specifically Black is King, your new Lion King inspired visual album, ask yourself the question and be honest about the answer. Last year, when the Lion King The Gift album was released, many of us who have been on the same page about our expectations of the Queen, capital Q. From Beyonce, we expect rousing pop
Hail the
music.
Queen.
The Queen, no, the way.
All right, moving on.
From Beyonce, we expect rousing pop music, vocal dexterity, as well as performances and visuals filled with pageantry, glamour, elegance, attitude, and blackness with a capital B. Look, they even made a meta reference right there with the capital B. I'm reading it word for word. I didn't put that one in. Okay, that wasn't me. Indeed, it's what she's been. Indeed, it's been what she's been giving us for the past decade. Her hype dash, her intentional outward expression of pro-blackness has been made and manifest in Lemonade, her Super Bowl halftime show performance, and her historic set at Coachella. Dash, Black is King is no exception. In fact, BIK might even be the pinnacle of the blackening or Africanization of Beyonce's pop aesthetic thus far. It is 86 minutes of some of the best pop art, musical cinema we've ever seen. But that last expectation, the black one, isn't a box checked as easily as it was in the past. This is a time of reminders and revelations. We are in the midst of a global pandemic that has disrupted business as usual and casted a spotlight on systemic, radicalized inequity in healthcare, housing, and economic class. To compound matters, the police killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and the state's violent response to the peaceful protests that have followed and reminded us of the omnipresence of the anti-blackness in policing and policy. In this climate, the plausible, if not bleak, critical framework of Afro-pessimism has made its way from academia to mainstream discourse, and in 45's America. Oh, okay, yeah. In Orange Man
Trump.
Blump's America, the afterglow of the hope-inspiring symbolism of electing a black president is a distant memory. Being black has never been simple, and in 2020, the expression of blackness has become necessarily more politically nuanced and explicitly complicated. In this era of critical and hypercritical thinking and social media reaction and overreaction, being a black celebrity with good intentions just isn't good enough. You aren't woke enough. Do you understand, brothers and sisters? Those with loud voices and big platforms are being challenged to read the room and some books before they speak their minds or express their solidarity through art. See J. Cole. There was a time when fame afforded the stars the benefit of the doubt if they engaged with the topics in du jour in less than sophisticated ways, but celebrity isn't the shield it once was. The shield has become a target as we collectively wait for our faves to put a foot in their mouths. Well, it's not, we expect them to disappoint us, and we almost anticipate them playing themselves. Even our beloved Beyonce is not exempt from the intensified scrutiny of 2020. When the trailer for BIK dropped in June 28th, it was met with all the enthusiasm and gleeful hyperbole one would expect for Beyonce, but the din of the Bayhive's buzz was pierced by the shouts of critics who found fault in the 70-second clip. The loudest early criticism came from African people on social media, those with immediate connections to the continent in its 54 countries and countless cultures and ethnic groups. They criticized the, quote, Wakandification of Africa, and were wary of yet another depiction of their content as homogenized, primitive, tribal, and underdeveloped. For too long, the world's view of Africa has been a depreciating one, a concentrated form of anti-blackness that has cast Africa as a destitute and backward, dark continent. We are all too familiar with the narrow and racist conception of the motherland. The motherland. Highly distorted Soviet anthem plays in the background, coming from white people and non-black POC. But this strain of this reductive thinking also exists in the imagination of a black diaspora seeking a connection to history, to a people, and to a landmass to set right the violent disconnection of slavery. Oh my God! Is there anything more? Oh jeez, this is a fucking.
Hang on.
Holding on. I've hung on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just I was scrolling down to see how much more we could go. We could talk about what you've read so far. I mean, we're at 12 minutes.
Look how many fucking new words are just like stuck in there. I mean, I'm all about portmanteaus, but like, just how do you expect half your fucking readers to like follow what the hell you're talking about? Wakandification, the what is it? The Africanization or something?
Black's mentioned 34 times.
All with a capital B, just to pay homage.
Oh yeah, they're all capitalized actually.
Jesus.
Okay, so we want to talk trash about the white man because he's so evil. He's so oppressive. He is he's breathing down your neck right now, and he hates your existence. No, he fucking doesn't. He's the same guy who's sending money over to Africa so that they can drink water. He's the same people that are going over there and building Christian churches and trying to get like a better thing going on over there.
Well, actually, fuck, I got too close to my mic. Actually, the food aid, the UNICEF, is actually keeping them, like, the reason why the country's a total, not the country, the whole continent is a total, like, a heaping pile of shit, quite literally, is because of the food aid. Whenever you send food aid there, the farmers who are trying to develop, okay, so economies start, like, they evolve. First, they're hunter-gatherers, like cavemen. And then they start agriculture, sustenance agriculture. And then they start trading agriculture. And then comes Industrial Revolution, and then the service economy, and then gig economy, so forth. So you're basically stunting the evolution of their economy by sending them food aid and free water, because if you don't do that, then they're either forced to figure it out and get their shit together and fix their goddamn country, or die. But when you send free food there, how do the farmers compete with free food? They can't. So the economy doesn't develop, no infrastructure is built, and the average IQ stays so low because human rights. It's a humanitarian crisis. Do what Jesus would do, to suffer the meek. And that's why Africa is shit. It's literally because of fucking UNICEF. So, look, even these stunning and brave black people want to be independent. They want to have their own Wakanda, and I'm okay with that. Let them have their Wakanda, but that can't happen until you stop giving them fucking free food and free water. Like, you know that old phrase, teach a man to fish, give a man a fish, will feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, he will feed himself for life. We're basically dumping free fish there, and the fish is starting to rot. And these men who should be fishing, they're literally killing each other and sending their kids as child soldiers and diamond miners because America just won't stop sending them free food. And that's why they don't know Wakanda. Not because of racism. Well, I guess it actually could be racist because it is a form of welfare, if you think about it. But yeah. Well done. Well done, you humanitarians. You proud of yourself?
Let us not look back on... Let's look back in history a little bit, okay? So what did the quote-unquote motherland... What happened there back in, let's say, the 1600s? 1500s? 1600s, 1700s. What were the fellow Africans doing with each other? They definitely were not all on the one side. It wasn't one Africa. There was different tribes. They all didn't like each other. And guess what they did? They saw an opportunity to go to war with the help of the white man, to go to war with other tribes, and to go take people from these other tribes and sell them as slaves. They sold each other into slavery because they didn't like each other.
Yep.
I mean, look at the Native Americans. They weren't all peace-loving, happy-going people.
Peyote
They were
smoking, turkey eating.
I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. They were savages. They scalped people. They ate. I mean, some of them were cannibals.
You want to know why?
And they all didn't like each other.
You want to know why the U.S. military has a helicopter named after one of these tribes? It's because said tribe is a bunch of fucking badass warriors. But the flip side of a badass warrior is they do some nasty shit like raping the women of the villages that they burned down and other war spoils. So, yeah.
So you can.
So they weren't buffalo boiling, peyote smoking hippies like they're depicted in cartoons and fucking kids' schools or whatever. So, yeah. But, of course, they're the victims. And since they're actually even bigger recipients of welfare than I think the black people are, yeah, the Democrats and the left don't want you to know about that. They just pull the wool over your eyes and make you think it's all about race. Well, it's only partially due to race. Race is one of the gears that makes a machine run. So, yeah.
So
we?
there's your Wakanda for you. Do you want to continue the article?
I would, but we're at 18 minutes, so.
We're at 18 minutes. I think you guys get the general gist of what's going on here.
They're just fucking straight up inventing words at this point. It's just so over the top. I don't know.
Oh, we can read more on independent black women's.
I mean, I might be down for some photo slideshows, but I don't know about these articles. Okay, just imagine how people would have responded to this 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. No, I don't know. About 10 years ago, I think. Here's the saddest part. Okay, and I know I sound racist saying this, but I just hear me out and. Maybe you realize where my intentions are. We have a generation of black people, young black people, whose, when was Lyndon B. Johnson's A Great New Society plan? That was like the 50s, right? So
yeah.
The majority of the black people, the exceptions being, the ardent capitalists who I guess are pretty much Uncle Toms at this point. We have the majority of black people who have no understanding of politics, economy, other than it's the white man holding me back. Everything is racist, and it's not their fault. This is what not only their parents have told them this whole time, because that's all they know, but also because the majority of people bend the knee to it because they know that black people riot whenever another George Floyd gets shot. And to me, is the most racist shit ever. If it was something plotted out by some, I don't know, some fucking lizard people in the government or whatever, that is the most racist shit ever, if you ask me. Because you're telling a whole demographic group within the United States that their race is all they are, and all of their friends is just, they're just black and white, literally. So, and these people, for the most part, since they're recipients of welfare and their kids aren't taken care of, unless they're like business owners, what do these people do? Fucking nonsense jobs like a journalist, body doubles or extra roles in movies like Beyonce's Black is King, social justice advocates. This is all, and interestingly enough, we're I guess it's like a horseshoe. We're finally coming down to the other end, or more like an Ouroboros. We go enter the mouth of the Ouroboros. We come out of its tail, and like the Ouroboros shits us out of the tail, but then we go back into the mouth again. And in fact, this actually might be white people's fault. I'm not kidding you. Not half of white people's fault. You know how... Yeah, this is where it gets really... There's some real plot twists. You know how the news journals are talking... Okay, first, they tried to... so I guess starting from a couple weeks ago, the news journals... Okay, whenever there's protests going on, first they try to paint the protesters as victims. Then once people ask, like, well, what kind of protesters are we dealing with? And then the news journals said that, they're all peaceful protesters. And that's just kind of been the narrative all along. And now that there's as much as the news media tries to hide it, there's just too many reports going on of Antifa dipshits just like loading up on bricks, Molotovs, and all these shootings because of the fucking city being burned down.
What was it? Chicago had 49 officers injured sent to the hospital. One of them lost his right eye socket because they were throwing improvised explosives at the people.
Oh, I'm sure there's worse. But okay, so now that the news journal, I guess FCC keeps their thumb on them by limiting about how much bullshit they can say. So what the news media does instead, they just throw things down the memory hole, as once colloquially put by a wise man on YouTube. And instead of just like lying to your face, they just simply stop talking about something. And then, since our attention spans are so short because we're fucking stupid, we as the American and Western people forget about it. So, and this happens on a small scale. Whenever someone's like arguing with you, a common tactic is whenever instead of admitting that they're wrong about something, they try to distract you with red herrings, ad hominems, or just trying to bring up something else entirely. And a lot of times it does work because you start arguing about something else entirely and forget what you were arguing about like 15 seconds ago. And the news media does... Where the fuck was I going with this? Okay, so yeah, here's where it gets weird, really strange. So the news media tries... Okay, so after the news media realize that they fail to... the news media realize that they can't memory hole everything anymore. Some things just slip out of the memory hole, and then people realize, oh shit, these protesters are fucking violent. And then the numbers go up for Trump. Numbers go down for Biden. People start testing or declaring Black Lives Matter as like, illegitimate. Black Lives Matter and Antifa, mind you. And what the news journals do instead of trying to memory hold this, they say that, okay, well, these are white supremacists. It's the white supremacists that are protesting in Portland and getting shot by the Portland State Police, or the Portland City Police. Now, I gotta ask you, is that really a lie, though? Think about it. These Antifa dipshits, they have the fucking biggest white savior complex ever. Like, imagine the Nazis' white savior complex. What do they do? Okay, well, what they do is very obvious. You know, they want their Lebensraum, and they go start killing Jews and killing literally everybody. But they're cool with Muslims because Muslims and Nazis both hate Jews, right? But could it be? You know, let's get our tinfoil hats on for a second. Let's dive some deep into the conspiracy pool. Could it possibly be that maybe Antifa is the new face of white supremacy? Because think about it. They're mostly white people who feel the moral obligation to be so pathologically altruistic, to work so hard to prove that they're not racist. And yet at the same time, that same group of people said they wanted those joggers to vote Democrat for the next 200 years. Isn't that a kicker, huh? Yeah,
I found an article claiming that number of Americans receiving welfare assistance, and I don't know how accurate these numbers are. I read them and I don't believe them. Mostly, I don't want to believe them. That's kind of a scary number. But this is back in 2016, so 110 million people, according to this, number of Americans receiving welfare assistance, 110,489,000 people. Number of people in the U.S., 3,280. Number of people receiving welfare, 110 million. So I don't know how true that is, but 39% of those people are African American receiving welfare, and the number and the percentage of African Americans in that make up the population of America is 12.7%, 41.4 million. So numbers probably aren't accurate, but Lyndon B. Johnson did a good job on keeping the votes where he wanted them to have them. So those are just some random ass numbers I threw at you.
Pull them up on the chart. I was trying to fucking log in. Why the fuck can't I log into my YouTube? What the shit? Okay, sorry. I'm gonna hammer my keyboard for a little bit.
We're about to roll on. I didn't realize this, but we're about to roll on 30 minutes.
Fuck, I don't know how I can upload this shit. Yeah, let's look at those numbers real quick. Okay. Okay, so the ratio is going to be messed up. Let's start at the top. Number of Americans were receiving welfare assistance, which is, well, depends on what. Okay, just like remember that 2015 pie chart? There's like 70% of the chart is actually welfare, but it's chopped up into pieces. Like one is Social Security, and the other one's like VA benefits or whatever, things like that.
It does just say welfare assistance as of 2016.
And also, it's like it's just so atomized. It's really hard to pin how, like, some things are like partially welfare. Like Planned Parenthood is like 30% of its 30% of the funding for Planned Parenthood comes from federal subsidies, and the rest are supposedly from donations. But I mean, sprinkle a nice big pile of salt on that one. Go to the other one. Here, hit control. Or yeah, that'll work too. I don't know if that counts Social Security. I don't know if that counts Obamacare. Whatever yeah. So, hold on. Don't move. Don't move. There are just as many whites on welfare as there are blacks.
Equality.
First of all, yes, you wanted your quality, there you go, you fucking got it. Second, that is true. Probably. In fact, I'm surprised there's actually, like, just as many. I think there'd be more white people on welfare because, like, white people are, like,
So
80% of the
would that
population,
mean? So the population of blacks in America is 41.4 million, and so the percentage of African Americans receiving welfare is 39.8%. I mean, what's the? Hang on a minute. What's the percentage of white people in the United States?
It's like 70, 80-ish. Oh, fuck. God, I gotta fucking clean this place up. Man. 110 million people listed on welfare, and this does not count corporate welfare, federal subsidies, etc.
So, so something to keep in mind, I suppose, when we're looking at these numbers, is that the number of non-Hispanic whites, so just plain mayonnaise sandwich eating white people in the United States, as Google, is almost 200 million. And the number of African Americans is only 41.4 million. And they actually surpass the percentage of people taking welfare by, like, what, 1%? 39.8% of people receiving welfare are African Americans. So it's probably safe to say that a good percentage of this number is living off of welfare, is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, yeah. And keep in mind, it doesn't matter what the ratio is. Welfare is a cancer that is colorblind. It will fucking infect and ruin your society regardless of what fucking color you are or how old your population is.
And now you have become oppressed to voting for the Democratic Party, who's going to keep feeding you your welfare, who's going to keep letting you go out into the streets and do whatever you want. I mean, and if that's what you like, I mean, sure. But keep in mind, you are not a slave picking cotton. You are a slave to the Democratic Party. They're just going to feed you.
Wonder where you got that from, huh? Sounds familiar. This old adage.
That's all I had. I mean, if you guys truly want to break away from slavery, we got to end welfare.
Just say no to White Uncle Sam's free money, because that's how he controls you. That's your chains. So if you want to make Wakanda, you got to turn down those checks, and start paying for your own stuff. So, anyway, this is a fucking long ass video. I don't know. I'm pretty satisfied with the content in it, though. I was on a roll.
You want to call it here?
Yeah, let's call it there.
We're on 33. Alrighty. Well, yeah. We'd ask if you guys would please leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And if you like my buddy AVC, you can go down to the description below and click on the link. It'll take you straight over to his channel. Show him some love and support over there. If you guys like, you can go down to my Patreon and become a Patreon supporter for me if you'd like. Support me in these hard times. With all that being said, we'll see you all in the next video.
Be sure to drop a capital B and crush that like button with your capital letters, respecting racial diversity or something.
All right, I got that last bit that you put in.